Hey Todd, okay. This might be a good time to. Oh, not if I could waste time telling a story. I'll tell it real quick. Now I come from Bruton, Alabama, and it's pretty much two families run it: the Millers and the Macmillans. And the Millers run the lumber company and the container corporation. The Macmillans own all the timber, so they have a lot of money. Now, in the 50s, I'm friends with this guy. Well, this guy named Earl Miller. He just passed away recently. Lived in Florida. To tell you a little bit about where I come from, Earl, as a child in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s, he was a rich man's child. His daddy was going to go to Brazil for some work, and he said, "Son," talking to Earl, young Earl, about 7 years old, he said, "Son, I'm going to Brazil. You want me to bring you back anything?" He said, "Daddy, I want a spider monkey." So his daddy said, "God damn it, I'll bring you back a spider monkey." So sure as shit, he come back with a spider monkey from Brazil in the late 50s in Bruton, Alabama. Now the veterinarian says, whoa, we got to quarantine this thing. We don't know what kind of diseases it might carry, because he brought it back illegally. So he allowed Earl to visit this monkey before school and after school and on weekends. And he would take care of it and quarantine it at the veteran's office. Veterinarian's office, not veteran. So this went on for about a month. And apparently that little monkey had disease or something. They didn't know how to take care of it in Bruton, Alabama. The poor thing died. And Earl had become so attached to it at this point that he just was so upset. He didn't want to bury it. He wanted to keep it. And he said, "Isn't there any way we can keep this monkey?" And like the pickled pig's feet at the corner store. He said, "Yeah, Earl, we can keep that monkey. That's called formaldehyde. We put it in a jar." And so Earl, at 7 years old, has this dead spider monkey from Brazil in a jar in his room. He has this thing in his room up until the age of 12 years old. Till one day they got bored. Imagine being bored in Bruton, Alabama. Uh-oh, there goes that raccoon again. He got bored, and he and his friends, Earl, I talked to him, this is a true story, and everybody knows this story in Bruton from way back. They took that monkey out of the jar of formaldehyde. They cut its little tail off with some loppers, and they shaved it. And Earl said it wasn't a clean shave either. Said it had little nicks on it, little bald spider monkey. And then the next thing they do is they dye it green. So what you got is a dyed green dead spider monkey with no tail. And then they make a little hat for him, a little helmet for him out of aluminum foil. And they make little mittens, and they make little booties for his feet. And they end up finding two Chrysler hubcaps. And the Chrysler hubcaps at that time were really ornate. Got one on top, one on the bottom. They got sandwiched in between these Chrysler hubcaps. And the next thing they did, they took this thing in the middle of the night, it was on a Tuesday night, out to the broom sage field out near the high school. Now right there's a Walmart there now, but then ain't nothing. It was a big old broom sage field, and it hadn't rained for a while. No full moon. It was a new moon, so it was dark as hell out there. And they took that spider monkey, that thing out there, sandwiched in with those mittens and helmet, sandwiched in between these hubcaps, and they took him out in the middle of the field. They poured gasoline on him. And they lit him on fire, and they ran out into the woods on the line of the field, and they ended up watching to see what was going to happen. Next thing you know, the whole damn broom sage field lights up, and so this lights up the entire town of Bruton. Everybody is there, coming out in their underwear and their bathrobes, and the police is there, fire department is there, and it's a spectacle. They just don't know what the hell happened to the broom sage field. Finally, it all dies down. The last little flicker of fire's out. They're stomping it out, and the authorities, they come in with flashlights from all different angles, and they're all coming in from different angles on the field, and they come into the middle of the field, and they all shine right on that mess that monkey, right about the same time. So they're coming in and they see him, they go, they take off. And you don't know what happened next. They called in Eglin Air Force Base. They had these gray military cars, said Eglin Air Force Base on the side of them. They had black cars, didn't say nothing, coming up from all over the place. They roped off the whole area. And school's out for the rest of the damn week because aliens had hit Brewton, Alabama. Now, the sheriff at the time was Sheriff Holt. Sheriff Holt knew Earl. He knew about his antics. And he's walking around in a huff and he's thinking, oh God, because the Millers and the Macmillans own the town, they pretty much own Sheriff Holt. He's walking around and around. Next day he goes up to Earl's house, knocks on the door, and young Earl answers the door, and Sheriff Holt looks at him and says, son, I know what you did. And we ain't gonna tell anybody about it. That's a little story about where I'm from. This goes out to Todd Finney. Now it's Brewton, Alabama, at the Columbia.